all the, what's it, nits and bits.
Nitty gritty details. Nits and bits.
Okay.
We have to do that again because I was
Hi guys, we are Ordinary South African and welcome back to another video.
So this is our last New York vlog recap video.
Where you're gonna get all the nitty-gritties.
The details. So let's start with the first thing that you need to do when you book a holiday is actually book the holiday.
And so this holiday cost us 58,430 rands. That's for your flights, for 2 people, return, including a 4-star hotel in Times Square. And just to let you know, generally most of the hotels don't have breakfast. Am I right?
They don't do a breakfast package.
Yeah, but we actually had we had the works at our breakfast for 6 nights. So that was actually a pretty good package. Well
worth it. But understand that January is off-peak in New York. They usually do get snowstorms. We were very fortunate, so if you watched our videos you would have seen blue skies, sunshine, and we're very grateful that we didn't get any snowstorms because most of the tourist places that we went to remained open.
We must say a big thank you to Taryn from Flight Center. If you guys really want to need her details and so forth, please message us so we can DM you with her details.
Just to give you some background, we did do research on booking ourselves with flights and all of that, and it still worked out cheaper to go with Flight Center, and where we saved money was on the breakfast because food is very expensive in New York.
So things that we booked before we could go to New York was, the first one was Top View. It's the tourism city bus.
We booked a 3-day pass.
It was a 3-day, yes, a 3-day pass. It was $205.
Yeah, for the both of us. I booked it a week before we can leave, and you do get this map, so you know where you are at any given time, where you're going. They do the full downtown and uptown tours. So basically, it's a hop-on, hop-off bus system. So we didn't want to get too bogged down with transport. So for 3 days, we traveled throughout Manhattan on the Top View. You would have seen all our footage. Well, actually, most of the footage is lost, but we got beautiful views of the city. There's full commentary on the headphones, which you get disposable headphones when you board the bus. And all you have to do is download the app to your phone. You don't need Wi-Fi when you're using it. Your ticket is there, so you just scan it twice and enter the bus. Paperless.
Top View bus company comes with only a double-decker bus for your viewing pleasure. So you can either choose to sit below deck.
It's heated below deck,
yeah,
so
which is warm with the a heater that's permanently on there, and the upper one that you can do viewing, and it's also partially open, so you can catch a little bit of the cool air that circulates into the.
Yeah, but all in all, if you're a first-time visitor, I would advise you to do something like this, especially if you didn't pay for any tours. It comes fully explained. So this was well worth the booking. We initially thought it was a bit pricey. In the end, we thoroughly enjoyed it. The other thing I booked in South Africa before we could leave is a New York sightseeing pass. So this, if you did any research on booking a trip to New York, you would come across a company called Sightseeing Pass. So basically, we booked tickets to the big places. That includes the museum, the Empire State Building, and a few others. But we booked 6 entries in total. We paid $368, so there was a little bit of a saving that came with it. But just so you know, the Liberty cruise and the Statue of Liberty, we got that for free with Top View bus when we made the 3-day reservation. So that one was included in that. So we saw most of the other landmarks you would have seen in our video with the New York Sightseeing Pass. Now the reason why we chose the Liberty cruise is because we paid $20 on the day when we got there to sit on the top viewing deck, and it included a free drink and a very delicious cookie.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, we don't have any of that footage, but I'm sick of saying that, so I'm not going to say it anymore. Yeah, so the sightseeing pass, you go to your Apple Wallet. So the sightseeing pass downloads to your Apple Wallet like this. So you can scan the QR code wherever you go. You can't scan this right now, it's not valid. But very easy. Almost everything in New York is paperless. So wherever we went, we scanned, and we actually chose to print tickets because that was also a little bit of a souvenir for us. And that was it. It automatically saves
the digital ticket.
Yeah.
You could enter like even the Natural Science Museum.
Everywhere.
It was like a breeze just to go and just scan and enter.
Online, you can choose the sites you want to see. So you can tailor make it according to your package. Wait, we want to apologize for the lighting.
We've got to switch the light
So sorry if the light does affect your eye a bit, but we're going to keep it on now.
Next up, we have the Woodbury Commons Outlet Park. That bus trip cost us $84 for the two of us. And we had to book that in South Africa because there's like
a waiting list.
A waiting list for you to...
It's situated in a place called Central Valley, which is out of Manhattan. It was a wonderful drive. We got to see the suburbs and the places that we are more familiar with. And when you have a shopaholic in the family, this place can... I think we just covered 10%
I think 10% is what we covered in a day that was.
And when you do board the bus, that $84 includes a discount booklet that will automatically be sent to you, or you can scan the QR code when you get there. So in the shops, you'll get a further discount. So make sure that you're making the most of being a tourist in the area as well.
You just got to throw it in there. Whenever you get to the till point, just throw it in there. Guys, I'm a tourist here. And they'll probably ask you for your passport. And if it allows them, they will just give you a discount.
Take advantage of the discounts that come with being a tourist in New York.
When we got to New York, the first thing that we did was, you would have seen that in our videos, and we posted some pictures as well on Instagram, was T-Mobile. We
had an Android phone with us, where most of the footage from this vlog ended up being from. It was a Samsung Flip. And they're absolutely helpful in T-Mobile. You can go there as brainless as you want to. Understand, we were jet lagged. And the first thing the guy told you is, I got you. And he really did.
Yeah, you did get that. It was an eSIM that they loaded onto the your settings of your Android phone, or if you had an iPhone. And you can use it throughout Canada and the United States.
And Mexico, I believe.
Yeah.
So this is not something that you can put on your must list, but for someone who wants to walk New York and use Google Maps, then it's important, because Wi-Fi is everywhere. You could get by with the Wi-Fi. But we drive on the left-hand side of the road. Things are very different in America. We didn't want to take a chance. So we used that SIM card thoroughly. Thank you, T-Mobile in Times Square. They're excellent with tourists. So if you're feeling as dumb as we looked in the video, that's where you need to go. And the guy will tell you,
I got you.
So this is my only complaint that I have about the trip. I really struggled with the money and getting used to the dollar.
If you can see, there is a slight difference to these notes.
But in your wallet, you can't see that. They're all green.
And previously, they were all the same color. Now there is a slight difference in color, which made it a little bit easier. But when it came to the loose coins, this was a nightmare.
So this is $1.
Which is the same as this. How do you explain that?
And then there's something called a quarter.
Yeah.
So what we were doing is whenever we needed to pay smaller money towards anything, we were like...
took a handful to the cashier and said, help yourself.
But they're very helpful. But that's the biggest struggle that we had, and there's nothing we could do about it. Because if you're looking at us with our pink and orange and blue and green money, and when you see this in a wallet...
Green.
You're not going to know the difference between a $20 bill and a $1 bill.
The next aspect that we're going to touch on is the transportation. So we had to take a cab from Newark when we arrived at New Jersey, and the yellow cab taxi cost us $104. $104
excluding tip.
Yeah.
So the reason why we went with the taxi is because when we got to Newark, we tried to get an Uber first. And as I said, we were not comfortable with using a train or anything because it was a brand new experience for us. And after getting out of customs, our main aim was to get into New York. So we looked at Uber. Uber ended up being a little bit more because they charge you more for the suitcase. So you've got to book an Uber XL. So right at the entrance of Newark International, when you land, there's a man who will see where you're going, what you need, and how many suitcases. And he quoted us based on what we were traveling with.
Yeah, which was cheaper than the Uber.
Which was way cheaper than the Uber.
And it was an experience. We needed a
yellow taxi experience.
Yeah.
The driver was from Haiti. He was almost like a tour guide. He was lovely. He told us everything that we needed to know when we were going, and even gave us the perfect view of the Manhattan skyline. And he's like, yeah, look to your left. Now you're going to see the Manhattan sky. Lovely. So it was a wonderful welcome to New York.
So the next mode of transport we want to touch on is the bus.
We used the bus. That was top view. We already covered that. So
that's what the last mode of transport, which we use a Metro card for, the rail. And we use the subway from Manhattan Times Square.
We used it on one day. We used it on one day. We basically used the subway everywhere. And it kind of made me regret not using it more because it wasn't as confusing as I thought it would be. The reason why it wasn't that bad is because we were not afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
So if we were
It is a little bit confusing.
Yes, it is.
Because there's lots of
numbers.
Yeah, and alleys that you gotta follow through. So we loaded about $10 to this card. And it cost us about $5.10 per person.
We used the subway to get to 5th. It's right near us, but it's seconds without having to feel like you went to the gym for the day.
Yeah, it's very convenient. So on our final morning at 4 a.m., we were chauffeured from the Hotel Rio to JFK. So that was the Valor services that we used from the hotel to JFK. And
I think it's called Suburban. The name of the vehicle is Suburban.
Chevy Suburban. Yeah, Chevy Suburban. It was actually very nice.
We felt like one of the FBI agents.
It's a guy opening the door for you, loading all your stuff in.
Very bougie.
Yeah.
But the reason why we decided to pay for that is we set budgets before we went to New York, and we did not spend that much on food. You would have seen in our videos, we're not eating that much. So we ended up saving towards transport, some of that budget. And because we needed to be at the airport at some ridiculous time, like 4 a.m., we were not trusting ourselves, or we were exhausted at that point. So we wanted something reliable to get us to the airport on time without having to worry about a taxi. But yeah, all in all, that was our transport experience in New York. We walked almost everywhere.
We did an average of about 20 Ks a day.
Yeah.
Or a little more.
Sometimes more when we were in Soho and all of that. But yeah, so Google Maps, that is why the T-Mobile SIM was wonderful for us.
So this brings us to the hotel.
Our accommodation.
Yeah, so we stayed in a 4-star hotel, the Hotel Rio on Times Square. If anyone is traveling to New York, it is a fantastic hotel to actually book and stay in. When you normally book hotels, now whenever you as a person who is a tourist in another country, there is a tourism levy, which we as South Africans, lots of us don't know about. So beside our amount, I think that we mentioned previously with regards to the price of the hotel, we had to pay 6,400 rands for the tourism levy for the 6 nights, and I had to pay a $35 per night tax,
which is not covered in the booking price. So that's not what happens in any other country, because when you book your accommodation, you might just pay a deposit. But the taxes and the levies in America applies to the residents
Yes.
as well, because I read that online on TripAdvisor, that it's something that's everyone has to do. It's not just tourists.
Lots of people complain, but it's actually
that's a rule of the
that's a
country.
rule of
You
the
have to do
country.
it.
That's
Yeah.
taken into consideration as well.
But yeah, once you check out, they're quite fast with what needs to be paid back to you. But
Yeah.
just remember, they're booking. So what we paid for in South Africa, we had to go there and in person pay a different taxes and levies fee. So, and speaking of taxes and levies, the price of things in New York can be very tricky, because sometimes what you see in the shop, I think this is all over the US, is not what you're going to pay when you get to the till. But speaking about that, let's show you our small haul, and we've included prices there as well. So enjoy that one. So we're going to share some of the stuff we bought. So this is not something that we bought, but this is something I got from Durban by a locally made company called Silver Lining Gumboots. They're rain boots. And they were absolutely invaluable on this trip because we experienced a really rainy day in New York. And New York was fairly wet. So these shoes withstood the weather and the test of time.
When we arrived in New York, the first store that we visited was the Disney store
in Times Square. And all we have left is the shopping bag that we have. In this shopping bag came a backpack that I carried with me everywhere. But unfortunately, we put that mini backpack into his backpack and we left it at London Heathrow Airport. We didn't leave it. It didn't come out of security and we just ran away without it. So if anyone does see my backpack, I'm going to insert a picture here. Please send it back to me. It was my first New York purchase. I still have the receipt and I paid with the shopping bag $43.93. It was on sale on the day, so I was very excited to get it. It was actually not a Disney backpack, it was Marvel by Loungefly. But I loved it. I used it every day after the first day in New York and touring Central Park in the cold, we realized that the items we had for our South African winters were definitely not going to cut it in New York. But we were also grateful that a lot of people via Facebook gave us tips on what to wear. The first shop that we went to for clothing was Macy's. And we did hear that Macy's has a little bit of a sale in January. I got this from a section called Macy's Backstage. It's a reversible jacket. And I think I got it for less than $60. That's the only receipt I seem to not be able to find. But you would have seen this jacket all over the video, because after buying this, I didn't have to worry about wearing anything else, and it was really comfortable. So as you can see, completely reversible. So in Durban, I could wear it with the fur on the outside. And yeah, I don't think I can wear this in Durban. Let's not lie. Maybe when we go to Joburg.
As you know me, I like fancy jackets, and my jackets actually didn't do justice to the weather that was there. In Soho, there's a shop called Uniqlo, which you get throughout, I think, America and a lot of other countries.
Yes, well actually Uniqlo is a Japanese-based store and it's absolutely reasonable. So if you're going from a country that doesn't have these type of things, like subcontinent in Africa, this is the most economical place you can get one of these down jackets.
This jacket is a duck down jacket. This jacket is actually phenomenal. You don't even have to zip it up. I think it can keep you cool, warm in like about -15, -20 degrees Celsius.
Is it light?
It's not very light, but it's very comfortable. It's fully like padded.
So that jacket cost $80.
Yes, 79.
I think that's before tax. No, including tax. Yes.
So from Uniqlo, we
$80.
also bought heat tech pants to help with the cold weather. As you know, that jeans is not the best friend when it comes to snow and the wind and the harsh winters. And this heat tech pants actually did the job. Like I couldn't believe. It's lined with fleece. If you can see that, it's lined with fleece on the inside. It kept us really, really warm.
Also purchased a heat tech top You can get these in a variety of colors. They actually look fine on their own, but I also use them underneath stuff when I didn't want to wear a heavy coat. Also got that fleece type lining. Both these items were $30 each. Excellent buy, especially when you're coming from a country like ours and you're going to a country like New York. We obviously are not accustomed to the weather, so these actually did help. Thank you, Uniqlo. Wish you were in South Africa. You cannot do a shopping haul and not talk about Chinatown in New York. So I bought a lot of souvenirs from there, including these bags. They were much cheaper, but because of no receipts, I cannot remember prices. But also from one of those stalls, we purchased these very woolly hats. It was really cheap, but yeah.
Made for the weather.
And also, how beautiful is this shopper? Our big New York souvenir from Tiffany's. Full disclosure, I actually already opened this. So we tied it up just to share this moment with you.
The Tiffany store is a flagship store in Manhattan, New York. So there's just a few stores that you'll probably get.
I don't know, but it was 8 floors of Tiffany stuff. But Tiffany's is so iconic. I love handbags, but I also have this collection of fine bone china that I've been sourcing from flea markets around Durban. And I'll insert a picture here. So when I saw this on their website, I knew that this is something I have to have.
And we had to go and visit the store.
We had to visit the store. Just even this box is enough for me. It's like, I wish they just sold the box. It's
Check this out.
Coffee mug set. Also made of fine bone china.
Looks so fancy, like you don't even want to use it.
We haven't used it, but we will. We plan on. This is made in Japan, fine bone china. I don't know whether you can see it, but you can feel the luxury just holding it. And it's, every time I see it, I'm reminded of my wonderful experience on 5th Avenue, and it's making me feel emotional. So let me share the price with you. So the total for this was $185.14.
Back to the main video.
When it comes to traveling, everybody has to talk about food. New York portions are amazing. It's very big. So we are not people that waste food. We do a doggy bag in South Africa and we eat it over the course of a day if we need to. But it's something we had to get used to in New York. One of the places I really loved was in Chinatown. It's called Ajisen Ramen. Love it to bits. We ordered a spicy pork ramen bowl. And it was like a full-on serving dish in front of us.
I couldn't believe the size of that bowl.
So we stopped ordering full-on meals at that point and we started sharing. I think on average we were spending about $20.
Yes.
But we did a lot of sharing. And the most expensive meal that we had was at a Spanish restaurant called Lina, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. And that was $90 for 2 drinks and paella. Paella?
Yes, paella.
And it was an experience. It was a very fancy restaurant by our terms. I would say our terms. It's not a Michelin star restaurant. We didn't eat in one of those. And then most of the time we ate fast food. We ate race pizza.
Five Guys.
Five Guys. I love Five Guys. And I just want to give a shout out to the person. We don't know her, but she's a New Yorker, a vlogger, Olivia View York. It's because of her vlogs that we actually tried Five Guys, and I was not disappointed.
No. Chick-fil-A?
We had Chipotle.
Yes.
McDonald's.
Burger King.
And then everywhere else that we went to, like we went to Magnolia's Bakery, we were literally doing a lot of snacks. But I think because we took the buffet breakfast in the morning, we didn't have a lot of emphasis on food. And we were doing so much walking we actually didn't really do much of a food holiday, which is disappointing now when I think about it. New York is an architect's dream. It's buildings like you're never going to see anywhere else in the world. And a highlight for the both of us, which we thought would not be possible because I absolutely love the museum. And every day, if you watch my videos, I spoke about a highlight because every day I had a highlight. But the one thing I still think about and loved to bits was the Empire State Building.
The New York skyline.
At night.
It's amazing.
Second to that were the churches on Fifth Avenue.
Yo, that was amazing.
Made me want to get married again in a fancy church.
Not me.
I enjoyed every minute of my holiday. I
wish we had an extra week.
New York, we love you. We will be back. As we said, New York is like visiting the world. We met people from India, Bangladesh,
yes,
Spain, South America, a lot of people from all over South America. American culture that is New York, and yeah, thanks to the locals who are always willing to have a chat with us. I'm not going to lie, every single place that we went to, whether we were sitting in a restaurant or shopping, we always had conversations with locals. I think we have those type of faces. New York was so much more than what I thought it would be. I was actually starstruck by the city. When we landed there, I was permanently looking at the sky, having dizzy spells, but
that wasn't a joke.
No, I really was.
I'm lost for words right now because this place was out of this world. Like, from the time we stepped into New York Times Square, I was like, what can I say? Did they say starstruck?
Yes, I said starstruck by a city.
Starstruck by a city. And I think even if there were celebrities that walked past me, I probably would not have even noticed them.
I actually felt like I toured the world by visiting New York. Like, here's an example. In Chinatown, we bought little souvenirs, and even the paper is Chinese. So it wasn't like English. Even though you were in an American English-speaking country, Chinatown is very much like visiting China. Next to it, Little Italy is like a little Italian village that you could be walking to. Koreatown, where even the people working there are Korean. That's a little bit shocking for us because we're from a very diverse country.
Yeah.
And we don't have that type of
it's like cultures in different parts of the city.
And when you walk into these different streets, you actually feel the different cultures. Like walking in Chinatown for me was like
you being in Shanghai.
Like you were suddenly in a Chinese village. Yeah. But I felt the same about Koreatown because it's all Korean food. The signs are Korean.
If you're a big BTS fan, you'll enjoy Koreatown. They have some lovely places there with all those goodies, BTS stuff. And if you're a night owl, the clubbing happens in Koreatown.
Karaoke.
Yes.
Which I kind of wish I did. But there's an H Mart there. H Mart is a supermarket with all Asian foods, and it's like really being in another world. So that's what New York was to me. And then when you walk on Fifth Avenue, it's everything. Yeah, Fifth Avenue is everything that you would picture America to be. So when I think about Rodeo Drive and Beverly Hills, I would put Fifth Avenue. So I felt like I've been to more than one country but just visiting New York. I just have one small negative thing.
I think I know what you're going to talk about.
What?
It's going to be the weed town.
It's the smell of weed.
Yeah.
It's really bad on Times Square. It actually at some point can give you a little bit of a headache.
We were thinking of just rushing through Times Square in order to get a few 100 meters away.
To breathe fresh air.
So that you could breathe fresh air.
We come from a country where weed is also legal, but smoking everywhere isn't. So it's like if you walk in any open space in South Africa, you're not going to smell any type of cigarette, let alone weed, unless it's a place designated for smoking. So that's something we had to get used to. I think there's a lot of things we take for granted in South Africa, like there's rules that everyone naturally follows. So it's something that we're not used to. But weed is legal in Durban as well. So we were a little bit surprised at... I'm thinking a lot of tourists are going there to experience the weed culture, which is wonderful. But I would wish they did it in a particular designated area. because it is a little bit, it got overwhelming at times.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching, for following the series.
Please like, share, subscribe and comment, and share this channel, and watch our upcoming videos for the 1000 subscriber giveaways.
It's coming in this week.
So thank you so much for all the support, and wish you guys everything of the best for this year. Goodbye.